years since the death of Shanquella and the 25-year-old traveled with a group of friends to Mexico, but during that vacation, she was found dead. In the last 3 hours, WCNC Charlotte obtained a copy of a lawsuit against the U.S. State Department, the FBI, and the 6 people who were on that trip with Shanquella Robinson. This lawsuit is expected to be filed on March 2 years.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How are y'all doing on this Tuesday morning? Hello. So we are here on the backup channel, of course, with a Shanquella Robinson update. As you know, this is, has been 2 years since the unaliving of Shanquella. She was unalived in Cabo, 2 years ago, as we all know. And she still has not gotten justice yet. There's still no justice for Shanquella. So now the family, Sue Ann Robinson, the lawyer for, the family, Sue Ann Robinson, has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Cabo 6, and also the FBI is included in this lawsuit, and the lawsuit has not really been completely filed yet. I think they are going to do it today, and they're also going to have a presser, a gathering today as well. I'm going to go over that in just a minute. So now they have released copies of it to some news agencies. And some news agencies actually have the filing. Okay. So that's the current updates. We're going to review a lot of that stuff today. And also some other updates as far as the case goes and the Cabo 6. And we're definitely going to get into it. Okay. So as you know, there is still a petition for Shanquella Robinson. People are still signing the petition. It has not really stopped. Of course, it has, been kind of slow in gaining signatures, and that's how I reach out to people about updates. Last update was 3 months ago. I think I sent out an update email, but yeah, so it's at 46,000 something signatures for those that need an update on that. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the new update about this wrongful death lawsuit that has been filed, and I also have some other interesting updates as well about this case I'm going to get into in just a moment.
Since the death of Shanquella Robinson, the 25-year-old traveled with a group of friends to Mexico, but during that vacation, she was found dead. In the last 3 hours, WCNC Charlotte obtained a copy of a lawsuit against the U.S. State Department, the FBI, and the 6 people who were on that trip with Shanquella Robinson. This lawsuit is expected to be filed in the coming days.
So it hasn't been filed yet, but it's expected to be filed. Okay. So actually, if I look at it, it says State of North Carolina, County of Mecklenburg, and it gives the last 3 digits of the case number. And I see the case number, the last 3 digits are 590. And that there is already a case with that actual extension, the last 3, 590. And that case is actually for the estate of Shanquella Robinson. So there's the estate, her estate. And within that estate lawsuit, they have filed a wrongful death claim. Okay. So sometimes with the estate, when there's an estate of someone, they can use that same lawsuit, or not lawsuit, but that same filing about the person's estate, to file like a wrongful death lawsuit. So that's what happened. So it's going to be merged in there, based on this filing. And it says Salamander Robinson, which is Shanquella's mother. And it says, individually as a personal representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, deceased. So it's going to be her mother, and it's going to be, like kind of like on behalf of Shanquella Robinson as far as her estate goes. And then that's the plaintiff. Okay, and then now as far as the defendants, is Daejhanae Manhan Jackson. So Daejhanae Jackson. Now Daejhanae Jackson still has a warrant out of Mexico. So if she actually stepped her manly feet onto Mexico's soil, she'll actually be arrested because she still has a warrant for her arrest. And then of course it lists all the Cabo Six. They have Elise Hyatt, Daejhanae Jackson, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and they have Nazir Wiggins. So they have all of the Cabo Six. And then they also have the United States Department of State, and I think they might want to do like the of Justice and things like that, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so the FBI. So they're adding everybody in there, and the reason I think they're adding everybody is because they want everybody to have to submit documents or submit things as part of discovery, so they can get some answers. A lot of times with some sort of criminal stuff, they don't always like release everything, because they can always say, well, we can't release this, we can't release that, because the investigation is still open, it's ongoing. So whenever you request records, they'll say, oh, well, the case is still open, so we can't release anything at this time, and are ongoing. So anyways, what's going to happen is, since they're not really getting anywhere criminally, they're hoping, I guess, that this wrongful death lawsuit will lead to discovery and people having to, speak or come forward or say certain things. So, nature of the action, it says comes now plaintiff, and it gives her name, and then there's like, hold on.
Right here in Mecklenburg County, it alleges multiple counts of wrongful death. The U.S. State Department, the FBI, and the 6 people who were on
and it says, of course,
that trip with Shanquella Robinson dead in the last 3 hours.
Salamander Robinson, individually and as personally representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, and it says deceased. And it says, by and through undersigned counsel, complaining of the actions and inactions of Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Nazir Wiggins, and the United States Department of State and the Federal Bureau of Investigation states as follows. And it says jurisdiction, venue, and applicable law. It says venue is proper in this county pursuant to, and it gives that statute. And it says jurisdiction that's just pretty much saying that that's the proper court or venue to hold this sort of proceeding about Shanquella. And then it says plaintiffs presented timely notices of text claims. And then it says give some more statutes. And it says in all applicable federal regulations, giving notice of the negligence caused by the acts or omissions of the United States Department of State. So they're pretty much going to be suing the Cabo Six and, bringing in the FBI, United States Department of State, because they want answers. And they also, obviously, this is going to be a lawsuit. Get everybody in there, get discovery going, get this case going, shake things up. And I think, it has been 2 years. So this is like, well, we need to get this rolling. We need to keep this alive. We need to make sure there's going to be justice, some sort of justice for Shanquella. Okay. Now, there are more pages, but it has not been filed with the actual courthouse yet. So until it's filed, I won't actually have the documents myself. They have just only released it to certain news agencies. Okay. So I'm also going to bring up Sue Ann Robinson's IG so we can get updates from there. So I'm actually happy that things are rolling. I was expecting them to do an actual lawsuit. I just didn't know when they would do it, but I was actually expecting them to actually do a civil lawsuit. Sometimes people are waiting. They don't do a civil lawsuit because they're waiting for criminal charges to be filed, and then they use the criminal charges or criminal case proceedings and answers they got from there to file their civil lawsuit. But since nothing happened criminally, then they have no choice but to, now file a wrongful death lawsuit. Okay. So this is what Sue Ann says. She says the whole team is on what we are on, and that's hashtag justice for Shanquella Robinson. And it says we are not letting up. We are, shout out to sister in the law and social justice advocate, and she gives a shout out. Pretty much just shouting out somebody that wrote an article about the upcoming case for Essence. And it says she's worth it. Justice for Shanquella. Hashtag justice for Shanquella. And it says stand with the family of Shanquella Robinson. Press conference lawsuit filed against Cabo 6 and FBI. And it says 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 29th. So that's going to be in about 40 minutes. So we're definitely going to tune in, and hopefully they'll have this live streamed. And that's going to be, it says press conference lawsuit filed against Cabo 6 and FBI. It says Salamandra Robinson, which is her mother, attorney Sue Ann Robinson, Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte. And it says it's going to be at the Little Rock African Methodist Church, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's going to be today in about 40 minutes. And I'm actually going to check the Facebook page for Mario to see if he's actually going to be live streaming it. Usually he does post stuff to his social media. Now, for those that don't know, Mario Black is the Million Youth March, and he has always done a lot of events. Helped with a lot of events for Shanquella since she was unalived. Okay. And right here's his page, Million Youth March of Charlotte in Salisbury. And it says, remembering Shanquella. And it says, on behalf of Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte in Salisbury. It says, in the entire, Million Youth March of Charlotte in Salisbury, T's family, we pause to remember Shanquella Robinson. It says the day 2 years ago, well, I think it meant like this day 2 years ago, this beautiful queen lost her life while traveling to Mexico. It's still a sad and unforgettable tragedy that took place, and that she can't fully rest in peace, and her family has been unable to have full closure. To her family, know that we are all thinking of you today. So I will come back to this in a minute, but I pretty much just wanted to say that that's going to be in like 40 minutes when they're going to discuss that. Now, one thing that her sister did with her IG is that she kind of created this for her IG page for Shanquella. The 2-year tribute. You know how people add these pictures like for their IG to just show like one big image for all their posts. So these are actually individual posts. These are individual posts that people post. And then once you have all these individual posts and posted in multiple succession, you can actually see that that brings up the whole full image. So that's like a cool thing people do to their IG, and remembers of someone, or just to, you know. So anyway, so that's what how her sister's IG looks now. Okay, let's go back to the news article. Just a second.
Obtained a copy of a lawsuit against the U.S. State Department, the FBI, and the 6 people who were on that trip with Shanquella Robinson. This lawsuit is expected to be filed in the coming days right here in Mecklenburg County. It alleges multiple counts of wrongful death, battery, negligence, conspiracy, and emotional distress. To this day, no one has been formally charged in this case. Robinson's mother and their attorney will be speaking tomorrow in Uptown. Of course, we will be there and we'll have the latest on the case throughout the day.
So as she said, that it will be kind of reported on as the day goes on, updates about the case, and of course there's going to be a presser. Okay, let me go back one notch.
Robinson, the 25-year-old, traveled formally charged in this case. Robinson's mother and their attorney will be speaking tomorrow in Uptown. Of course, we will be there and we'll have the latest on the case throughout the day.
So that's going to be, like I said, soon. So I definitely will be still live at that time. So I definitely will go ahead and watch that. Okay. And it says the family of Shanquella Robinson, a Charlotte woman who died after being attacked on a 2022 vacation in Mexico, has filed a lawsuit against those vacationing with Robinson and the federal government, according to the law firm representing the family. The lawsuit comes on the second anniversary of the 25-year-old woman's death. Attorney Sue Ann Robinson said the lawsuit was being filed in the Superior Court of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, on behalf of Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson. The lawsuit was not readily available in Mecklenburg County court records, but a copy was shared with WCNC Charlotte by the family's attorney. So again, it's not actually in the court records yet, but they definitely have it drafted up to file it. The attorney said the lawsuit accuses 6 people who were vacationing with Shanquella Robinson for her death for the first time in public record. All 6 people who have been nicknamed the Cabo 6 are being named by the law firm. The lawsuit also accuses both the U.S. Department of State and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, of investigative failures and delaying justice, according to the attorney. The lawsuit seeks compensatory and punitive damages to address the profound emotional and financial toll, according to Sue Ann Robinson. The family also calls for the arrest and extradition of Daejhanae Jackson, one of the 6 vacationing with Shanquella. And it says, as WCNC Charlotte previously reported, Shanquella Robinson unexpectedly died on vacation. Robinson's death certificate says she died 15 minutes after suffering a severe spinal cord injury and a broken neck. A video posted to the internet after the death shows Shanquella Robinson being viciously beaten by someone on vacation with her. They had a video that went viral. The whole world saw the video, and there's still been no arrest since October 29th. What kind of system is this? Salamandra Robinson previously told WCNC Charlotte. On the 1-year anniversary of Shanquella Robinson's death, the FBI field office in Charlotte told WCNC Charlotte the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution, as in any case, we are prepared to review and examine new information related to the investigation should it become available. At the time, the U.S. Department of Justice sent a similar message and had no further comments on the case. Now, with this case, let me actually show y'all this real quick. Hold on.
She was found dead. In the last 3 hours, and the 6 people who were on that.
Like I said before, this case at the very end, the last 3 numbers are 590. That's going to be filed, okay? And if we actually take a look at this case for the estate of Shanquella, which is actually mentioned in that document. Let me zoom in real quick. The estate of Shanquella Robinson case was actually filed May 23rd, 2024. So in May of this year, it was actually filed. And as you can see, the last 3 numbers of that case number is 590. Okay, so they're pretty much going to be adding that new lawsuit for wrongful death to this already existing estate. Okay, for Shanquella. And then they have the deceased is Shanquella, and then they have the beneficiary, Bernard, which is her father, and then Salamandra, her mother, and the administrator is her mother. And then they have the lawyer that's representing this individual case right here is actually Celicia from it's like a different law firm, okay? And then it does have some actual filings, like updated letters and things like that, but that's not the actual lawsuit. But as you can see right here, there's a claim for wrongful death, but then there's no actual filing yet. And that's why I believe that once they actually file something, it's gonna actually appear here in the case events, or it's gonna be attached to this case. What I do know is that what they are filing has the same last 3 numbers, 590, and they also mentioned the estate of Shanquella Robinson. So it's definitely going to be attached to this existing estate of Shanquella case. Now, since this has been open, there has been like the regular stuff for the estate of Shanquella, such as bond waiver, proof of death. I'm not going to go over these right here because some of these actually have addresses and personal information, so I'm not going to open these. But the death certificate is just the same death certificate we've already seen a million times. The death certificate from Cabo, and then we have the renounced right to qualify document, and then we have the oath signed by Shanquella's mother. And then we have the application for letters of administration that was filed May 23rd, 2024. And that's just like about the estate of Shanquella. That has nothing to do with the actual lawsuit. The actual lawsuit stuff starts here for claim for wrongful death in July. And then now Shanquella's lawyer, Sue Ann Robinson, is going to actually add on a new filing for wrongful death lawsuit against Cabo 6, FBI, and the Department of State. Okay, yeah, and they're going to talk about more of that in about 30 minutes, which we will. Hopefully, the news will be live streaming that so we can view it. Now, another thing I want to talk about is one of the Cabo 6 is actually being quite sneaky. Okay. Yeah, so hold on, let me actually give a shout out to Jamila. Thank you so much to Jamila for renewing your membership, or not renewing your membership, but for being a member for 16 months. Happy 16-month anniversary. I appreciate you for being a member. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by hitting the like button. We are on the backup channel, which I barely use. So help this video to get into the algorithm. I need everybody to support the channel by hitting the like to get this video back into the algorithm. Okay, because it's like a ghost town over here because I don't use it. I barely use it. Now, wait 1 second. So there's another update about Daejhanae Jackson. I'm going to mention it in just a second. But yeah, I'm so happy that, something is really happening with this case. Now, once things get like, who knows? Like once discovery happens and questions are asked, and there's like an investigation, like even like through discovery processes, who knows what might come out. Answers could be revealed enough to charge somebody criminally or have something happen, or who knows what will happen. This could actually be a great thing. Okay. And then also it might actually force some people actually to speak or come forward. Like, Daejhanae Jackson, Winter Donovan, a lot of these people have been quiet. They haven't really been speaking. Only person that has actually spoken or said anything was Nazir Wiggins. Everybody else has pretty much been mute. Now, this will possibly force some people have to say something or speak or, do discovery. Hold on. So what happened now, everyone, is that Daejhanae Jackson has changed her name. So let me get that document. She actually has changed her name. She's trying to avoid accountability. So now she has changed her name to something else. You can run, but you can't hide, Daejhanae Jackson. Okay. Now, Daejhanae Jackson is the main one that was brutally and savagely attacking Shanquella in Cabo. Okay, hold on one second. Let me type this. I have to type this up real quick. So yeah, she has changed. She has tried to do a name change, and I wouldn't say try. It was granted impartial to a name change. So part of her request was granted and other not. So maybe she asked for like complete expungement or complete this or complete that, but they only granted partial. But hold on one second. Yeah, so if you're just getting here, I'm just saying right now, I'm pulling up this document. I need to make sure there's nothing in here. So Daejhanae has filed a request to change her name. She actually did it last year. One second. her name is like, okay, Daejhanae Jackson. Okay, so I have in here. Okay. Okay, so right here on this document right here, we have the location is the Guilford Clerk of Superior Court, and it was filed on June 5th, 2023, so 2023. And it says, filed by Daejhanae Jackson. Yes, Daejhanae Manhan Jackson. And she has pretty much filed for a name change. Now, y'all have to remember that we called, she was working at Blue Rhino. We pretty much, you know, was calling to get her fired from there, and they said that she was ultimately fired, and things like that. So you know, it's probably hard for her to get a job, which is good, and to hide out, because everybody knows Daejhanae Jackson. Her name is everywhere, so obviously she would want to change her name. And also she has a warrant out of Mexico and things like that. Okay, I need to actually get this flyer sent out real quick, so bear with me. I gotta send this flyer out to everybody real quick. So it's in about 20 minutes we're gonna have this presser. So I want to make sure I can send this out, even though it's kind of late, but I still want to post about it. Hold on. Okay, so let's get back to this. I apologize. I had to send that out. Okay, so right here it says Daejhanae Jackson. She filed for a name change. Can y'all see it says name change? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Right there it says name change right here. You know, that happened on June 5th, 2023. And then let's see here. Now it says right here, alias Imani Green. Now, sometimes the alias means like the name they're already using as an alias, and sometimes alias means the name they're changing to. So first, for this jurisdiction, to be honest, I will have to call in to see more information. But usually they will have the new name on the actual document. So I don't know. In this case, alias means her known aliases, and or this is a name she's changing to as Imani Green. But I do know that she did change her name, so I'm thinking that that's going to be her new name, Imani Green. But it could also be, you know, where they're not posting it; they're just posting a known alias. But sometimes when you're filing for a name change, you have to give them your known names and your aliases before you can change your name. Okay. And at the very bottom right here, it was granted in whole or part. So I don't know, in whole or part, whatever she was asking for, it was granted. And it says name change action. And it says right here. So as of the end of last year, she actually is going under a new name now instead of Daejhanae Jackson, most likely so she can try to get jobs and other stuff. Okay. So I'm thinking that her new name might be that Imani Green, but let me actually look into something. Okay, hold on.
How can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling to check on this case number.
Okay, what is it regarding on the case?
A name change.
Okay, let me get you to special proceedings. Hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling Gifford County Clerk of Court. This is Lenore, Special Proceedings. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling to check on the case number.
What are you calling to check on the number about?
Well, when it says for a name change, when it says alias, is that like the new name or that's just the person's previous alias?
No, that's the name that the person want to go to.
They want to go to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And are these actually just private, completely private records, or are there? Can you request it like publicly for public records?
Well, are you looking on the portal? There are certain things you can see on the portal.
Yeah,
Some
I can see it on the portal.
Okay.
On the portal, I can see things, but there's no actual images or documents.
What do you mean there's no images or documents?
So what I mean, there's nothing downloadable like to actually see Like,
did you go to the case event?
yeah. Case events, it
Okay.
says legacy complete, and it says petition name change.
Yeah, you won't be able to see the legacy scan, so that's true. It's not public. We have to redact it first.
So once it's
what are you looking for?
So you can redact
once it's redacted.
Okay.
Yes, once it's redacted, you can see it. The public can see it, but before it. Okay, let's see. No, we're not the fourth either. Oh, put it back. You said Daejhanae Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it would take it would take some time. We have to go through the whole thing, copy the file, go in and redact everything and then make it public. But we have to go through each page because there's certain things that can't. Yeah, it's our new rules.
Okay.
So we could get it done by today.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you so much because I definitely need it. All right.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, child. So yeah, I'm gonna be nosy later on and see. Wait. So now we do know that her name is Imani Green. Hello, Daejhanae Jackson. Okay, I'm gonna update all my videos with your new name. Yeah, how about that? How about that, Daejhanae? I'm gonna update. I'm gonna have Daejhanae Jackson, and I'm gonna add your name, Imani Green. So now you just change your name for what? For what? Because I'm putting all your name is gonna be Imani Green. I'm putting it in this video right here. Daejhanae Jackson changed her name to Imani Green. Yeah, that's how much you gonna change your name. Okay. Lord, let me edit this too. I'm gonna edit this. I got to go through everything, child. I got time. Daejhanae Jackson changed her name to Imani. Child, what kind of name is that? Now her middle name is already Imani, but it's not spelled with the E. So she kept Imani, but she changed it to Imani. You might say Imani. Is that like how you could say spell Imani? Because you built and shaped like a man and look like a man. It would walk like a man, talk like a man, and built like a man. It's a man. Let me stop. Now, she was sleepy, and to be honest, I'm sleepy too. Okay, yeah, I am sleepy. Like I can't be doing like I have too many channels and just too much going on in real life. Like I have stuff I have to get done in real life as well. So let me update this real quick. Say, let me see here. not that one. So in about 7 minutes, they should be starting that presser. So I'm trying to get this done real quick. Now, Imani Green. So right there, E, and then it has like, you know, and then it says colon, it says M-A-N apostrophe, I mean, E apostrophe, and it says M-A-N-I. That's her new spelling, and then Green. Okay, so let me go back over here. I just want to make sure I had it spelled right. Imani Green. Okay, that's updated. Child, you wasted your time. Because I'm sure that, child, everybody going to be petty. Because y'all know I be trending. Like, number one, everybody going to be talking about how Daejhanae Jackson changed her name. And number two, people going to be, you know, doing the same thing I'm doing, changing her name to Imani Green. Now, hold on. Now let me go to my video description and change that one. Okay, that's updated. Oh, and also now that they filed a lawsuit against her, they haven't actually filed it completely yet. So they actually need to change her name to Imani Green. For the lawsuit filing, they need to change the name. They need to update the name to Imani Green. So hold on. Let me actually message somebody. She changed her name to Imani Green. Okay. See, before I said she changed it to Imani Green, I wanted to make sure of what that name meant for alias. Just, I'm sure that was it, but just I wanted to just confirm. Okay, I did let Shanquella's sister know. Okay. Well, I did. Well, shall I say I messaged her? She hasn't gotten it yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. I was like, Liv Moore said it's a typo. I'm like, girl, I'm sleepy. It's a typo, but you trying to be funny. You said E-Manly. I was like, girl, Lord, I got to go back to the title again. Child, y'all got to bear with me. I'm tired. But you tried to say E-Manly. Okay. Yeah, child. I was like, E-Man. Okay. So yeah, so she has changed her name to Imani Green. And I'm going to actually be getting those documents. And seeing what she put in the document for the petition. Now, I can kind of show y'all something real quick. Hold on. This is what you actually have to fill out for North Carolina for a name change. Let's see here. After you have the order that changes the name, you may need to change the name on public and private records, including Social Security, driver's license, passport, post office. Of course, you have to change your name everywhere because duh. Now, there is a way to change your name to avoid everybody knowing that you changed it, but she didn't actually do it. So, dummy, she's dumb. And I'm glad she's dumb. Of course, you have to go through like fingerprinting and things like that because they don't want like just anybody changing their name and they have like a record or criminal record or trying to hide some heinous or vile crime. So that's why they have to make sure you have to do fingerprinting and turn in certain things to prove that you're not just trying to run from your criminal past. But right here it says you'll have your name, your mailing address, phone number, and city, date of birth. Now they are going to go ahead and redact her application because obviously they cannot give like all the personal information. So we'll see what they're going to redact and what they're not going to redact. And then they have to sign it, and then include a copy of a fingerprint card. And like U.S. citizenship, middle name, their name information, last word social, your height, hair, eye color, things like that. Credit card payment form. I'm just going over like what we can expect, like what I'm requesting, or just to be nosy or whatever. And it says notice of intent to file name change. Now, sometimes it actually will say like, oh yeah, it will say, why do you want to change your name? Like it'll say for the request, you have to say like why you want to change it. They're trying to see your reasoning for why you want to change it. Like, girl, you know good and well you're trying to hide from this Shanquella Robinson case. That's why you want to change your name. So I want to see what she put, like, as for her reason. Like, was she honest or was she just trying to make up something? The petitioner is at least 18 years old because you have to be at least 18. If you're under 18, your parents have to be the one that do it. Okay? That files it for you. Place of birth, things like that. Mother's information, father's information. They're still wanting to attach you to yourself. They don't want you to like completely get a whole new identity. They still want to like, at least they know with the courts, like who you are and what's going on. They want to know if your name has been previously changed before. There are some people that actually change their name like a lot. Like they keep on changing their name. So then by the time the person changes their name like 5 times, child, they pretty much are really trying to run away from their true identity or birth name, should I say. And it has to be notarized, of course. And it says, and change name. And that's pretty much it. So that's the application for people that want to actually change their name in North Carolina. Okay, so now it should be time for the press release, not press release, but the press conference or statement from the lawyer. Let me see if I can find anything on it. Oh, and by the way, I do got some updates. So YouTube, this is like a side note. Okay, I'm not going to mention it right here. I'll talk about it on my other channel. That's my main channel stuff, so I'll just wait. And I don't want to like bring up those people in this video, so I'll just wait. Hold on. So if it starts in the next 10 minutes, then I'll wait on here. But if it doesn't, then I will just come back. Hold on. So Ben Crump actually but wrote this about 2 hours ago. An hour ago. It says 2 years ago, Shanquella was tragically killed in Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico. Shanquella was beloved by her family, whose grief is still very real. Today, we send our love to her family today, who still deserve answers, accountability. No family should face such loss. So this is what Ben Crump wrote 2 hours ago. Hold on just a second. Okay, I don't see anything on a church's page. Okay, while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to start the actual tribute because it has been 2 years since her on the living. So I'm going to play a tribute for Shanquella as I typically do to celebrate her, not celebrate her anniversary. That was like a birthday tribute. This is just to a tribute for her anniversary of her death. Okay. Hold on a second. So it's like what I did on her birthday was like do like a birthday like video, and then on the anniversary day I do like a tribute. So I want to make sure that's the correct date. Hold on. Jamila says, I'm curious to know her reason for the name change as well. Yeah, we already know the reason, but we will like see what her actual reason is. Will it be televised? We just watched it early if you're just getting here. One of the news stations said that they are going to be there, and so I'm sure they're going to live stream it. They just haven't started it yet. But I'm sure they're going to start it in a minute. But I'm going to actually just do a tribute for her right now while I'm waiting for updates. Okay. Thanks for the update. She can run, but she can't hide. Yeah, I was like, wow. Now, And by the way, I did check everybody else too. Since she changed her name, I was like, let me actually check everybody else's name too to see if everybody else is doing the same thing or if she's the only one. And I only saw that she was the one that did it. And I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. I mean, she does have a warrant. And her name, obviously, she was the main one like attacking Shanquella that we saw. So with that being said, it's obvious that she will be the main one trying to actually avoid accountability. Let me see. Exactly. God sees all and knows all. Exactly. Yeah. I'm waiting for it. I'm actually going to play this while I actually look up more stuff. Okay, hold on. Now, I know I used to do that in the past all the time. If anybody follows this backup channel, y'all know. All I did was go live and I would just do stuff. Everything I would do was just live, like live calls, live this, live that. Everything is live. Click, clacking away, live. But let me actually play this. Tribute while we wait for the press conference. Okay. Hold on.
There's a place in heaven prepared for me when the toils of this life is over.
Vote for Shanquella Robinson for Senior Class President.
Before the throne, singing praises forevermore.
Vote Shanquella for Senior Class President, Class of 2015. It's time for a new generation of leaders to step up. Leadership. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way.
If he said it,
vote for Quayla 2015.
I know it's true. Yeah. There's a place for me.
One of her early jobs was at Belt.
Beyond the sky, brothers and sisters, there's one.
Vote Shanquella Robinson for Homecoming Queen.
Jesus, he promised me a home.
Okay, let's actually look at this real quick. Hold on.
Latest move in their fight for death. U.S. authorities will mark. Watching Eyewitness News, we are live tonight at 10. Thanks for joining us. I'm Erica Bryant.
I'm Scott Wickersham. First off tonight, a new lawsuit from the family of a woman who mysteriously died while on vacation in Mexico.
Tomorrow will mark 2 years since Shanquella Robinson's death. U.S. authorities have not charged anyone in this case. Channel 9's Erica Jackson is live for us at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse tonight. Erica, the lawsuit that the family filed names several people and agencies tied to all of this.
Yeah, Erica, this is the Robinson family's latest move in their fight for answers. Shanquella Robinson mysteriously died in October 2022, one day after she arrived in Mexico with friends. Now, relatives say those 6 friends told them that Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning, but an autopsy report from Mexico shows she died of a broken neck and spinal cord.
Okay, so we're here now. We're gonna watch this. Okay, hold on. This is the actual presser. Okay, hold on. Press conference. Okay, hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward. Okay, that's Shanquella's mother, Salamandra. Okay. And that Sue with the white shirt is actually Sue Ann Robinson, the lawyer for the family.
Family, friends, Charlotte.
And then that's Mario Black, the one that actually plans a lot of the events. Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Family, friends, Charlotte area news media. I am Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury. As you know, today is the 2-year anniversary that a queen was taken from not only her family, but the Charlotte community. So last week when Sue Ann called me to tell me about today, my heart was overjoyed. And I've been emotional over other stuff, life, just been lifing, but that was tears of joy last week when I talked to them on Friday. So here we are. We're here. I'm not going to take up too much time, but thank you for thinking it not robbery to come and stand with this family.
And by the way, he's the pink lettering is Shanquella's favorite color was pink, so that's why people wear this that pink. Okay, and a lot of her the birthday balloons and some other things were pink. Okay, that's her color.
The news outlets, thank you for thinking it not robbery to continue to keep the coverage going, not only in Charlotte but across the world, because Shanquella Robinson's story touched the masses, and it happened in our backyard. So we appreciate everyone.
Well, sometimes people have a nervous chuckle. It's not like a chuckle like that. It's like a nervous chuckle.
And I'm going to turn it over to Mom Robinson.
Good evening. I'm Shanquella Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson. And I would like each and every one of you, if you can, anything you can do, step in and help us with justice. We need justice for Shanquella Robinson. It has been 2 years, and there's no reason that no one has not been arrested yet. And I need justice for my child. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sue Ann Robinson, and I have the honor of representing Shanquella Robinson's family. Today marks a very somber and heartbreaking milestone, the 2-year anniversary of the tragic murder of a remarkable young woman whose life was cut short in a senseless act of violence while she was on vacation in Mexico. Shanquella Robinson was more than just a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a vibrant soul full of promise and dreams. Her laughter, her kindness, and adventurous spirit touched the lives of everyone who knew her. Today, as we remember her and take action towards justice for her, we are reminded of the joys that she brought to our lives and the profound loss felt by her family and friends. As we stand here today, we must confront the reality that those responsible for her murder have not been held accountable. As we stand here today, we must confront the reality that those responsible for her murder have not been held accountable. The lack of justice serves as a painful reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by individuals, especially young Black women, when they seek adventure in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar faces. It is our responsibility to ensure that such tragedies do not go unanswered. We are here today not only to honor Shanquella Robinson and her family, but to call for action. We demand still, again, and until the end, that authorities take the necessary steps to investigate this case thoroughly and bring those responsible to justice. We believe that every victim deserves to have their story heard and their rights upheld, regardless of where they are in the world. As we reflect on the past 2 years, we also look to the future with determination. We will not rest until justice is served for Shanquella Robinson and her family. We urge all of those in positions of power and soon to ascend to positions of power to prioritize this case to ensure that accountability is not just a promise, but becomes a reality. We thank you for your support, and we are open to take questions on the litigation that has been filed. Yes. No. Yes. All the information with respect to their whereabouts, we pled in our complaint to the court.
And then wanted to touch on the lawsuit when it comes to the State Department and the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen communication with any at all where they're mentioned in a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So the FBI mentioned a delay in getting that second autopsy. Obviously, there were conflicting opinions between Mexican authorities and their autopsy and one that was done back here at home. Is there another case that you guys can point to that kind of is a comparison in a way for an appropriate timeline to get a second autopsy done like that? Or is it just such an extenuating case?
I think the point of the lawsuit is that it is an extenuating circumstance, right? That no family should have to go through this, that the federal authorities have a duty to thoroughly and quickly investigate a claim. and that every day that they delay is justice denied for this family. And so it is unique. It is, in a way, of first impression, but it doesn't mean that it isn't a remedy that should not be sought. I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. If it was up to me, we would have had a thorough investigation and had answers for this family 2 years ago. But we're here, so we're going to fight on. Yes?
How did you feel when the lawsuits were finally
Well,
filed?
it's not going to bring back Shanquella Robinson, but it's that I know that the FBI should have been done something at this time after 2 years ago. I know a lot of stuff that was in the phones of Shanquella Robinson that I gave to the FBI, and the FBI looked over it like it was nothing. And, you know, and just like you just pushed my daughter up under the rug when you should have been arrested these people. You had a video where she was being brutally beaten, but you want to mess with the autopsy and say that she did not have a broken back or spine when the FBI are deliberately lying, because someone had, attorney had already, not my attorney, but attorney had already told me don't let the FBI mess with that autopsy, that they were going to switch it around. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm fed up with this stuff. I need justice for my child.
Amen.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, it's common sense that a healthy young woman, 25, is not going to go to Cabo and then, you know, never return. And everyone can see her being brutally and savagely beat to death on camera, like it's on video. And that's what we saw. And I'm sure there was even more footage or more like what happened to her being attacked, right? So what happened? So we see her, she's fine. She's fine before she goes on the trip. She's fine walking down the hallway. She's fine in the pool. She's fine. Everything is okay. And then boom, there's a savage beating. And then after that beating, now she's not okay. Now she's not coming home. Now she's not, here. So what happened in between the time she left perfectly fine to Cabo to the time she did not return home? Something happened, and we all saw what happened. So her mother is pretty much saying, we saw what happened. Stop acting like it didn't happen. What's going to happen? You know, what are y'all going to actually do about this? Y'all are not going to just sweep it under the rug. I'm not going to stop. Y'all are going to give me answers. Y'all are going to bring somebody to justice. Somebody's going to be held accountable. If I had to drag the FBI to the courtroom, I have to drag Cabo 6, all of them to the court, then so be it, because justice for my daughter. I gave y'all 2 years, 2 years up. Now it's time for a civil lawsuit. And now y'all will have to answer to this.
We did disclose in full the Mexican investigation in the complaint, which we had not done before, in the hopes that perhaps the State Department or the FBI were actually, as they indicated, working on something. But as you pointed out, today would be the 2-year anniversary, and they have not communicated with us anything other than stating that we can wait another 5 years for a response to our public records request on what they did. So we don't have an option. Their actions have led us to this point.
Could you clarify that a little bit? What do you mean 5 years from the public records?
In our lawsuit, we allege we have presented the FBI with a public records request in order to be able to assess what was done on the case. And their response was, we can get back to you in 5 years, which obviously would be an even more significant delay, even more significant erosion of evidence in the case, memories of witnesses, etc. So it's an unacceptable response.
This is to Shanquella's mother. You can't speak to what was lost over 2 years by not having this information.
I think with respect to evidence, the issue is that the witnesses in Mexico, their memories would fade. The Cabo 6 memories can fade. It's over time. They have time to create new stories, create new memories. So everyone knows that the best time to work on a crime is within the first 48 hours, right? Well, we're at year 2. So that delay is causing justice to be denied, but we're still going to fight on.
My question really is to her about the impact of what you say, justice denied, justice delayed, what that does to the family, what that does to individuals waiting for answers.
Waiting for answers is also is an impact on my family. It gives us a hard way of grieving. We have a hard time grieving. You know, every year we got an anniversary coming up. It never goes away. When you're kind of at ease and you think your mind is doing good, then here comes something else. You know, and then we should have been had justice. Even if they couldn't arrest the whole Cabo 6, some of these people should have been already in jail. Long time ago.
So her mother is saying, you know, how can they heal and have closure or anything when there are still so many remaining answers? This is like, you know, when someone passes away and you have answers as to why they passed away, you have their cause of death, you know, let's say if it was like a heart attack or something, like, okay, they passed away from a heart attack. Now you can have, you know, you're still going to miss your relative, but at the same time, you know, their cause of death, you know why they are no longer here. In this case, you have people that went to Cabo with your daughter. You see, you know, her getting beat up, savagely beaten to death by one of the people, at least one of the people. And then that person is walking free and nothing has been done with that person. Do you have these 2 different autopsies with 2 different results? You have a lot of stuff being said here and there, and then there's still no answers. So how can you heal when there's still no answers? And then you have, you know, the anniversary of her unaliving, like now it's 2 years since she was unalived on today. And then you have her birthday coming up. It's hard to heal. It's already hard to heal when you have answers, and it's even harder to heal when you don't have answers. There's a lot of whys. And then you're wondering why the LPI isn't doing anything. Why isn't Mexico doing anything? Like, why hasn't Mexico really pushed hard to get Daejhanae extradited? They say they have a warrant for her in Mexico, but okay, why haven't y'all really tried to get her extradited back to Mexico to fight for justice? Okay. So that the mother is pressing, like, you know, it's hard to heal. Okay. Yeah, and that video makes it harder because you can actually see what happened to her. You can see why she went there perfectly fine to Cabo and didn't make it home. You can clearly see in that video. And we already know that video was on like 17 seconds or so. So imagine what happened outside of that when the camera stopped rolling. What happened after that point, or even before the camera started rolling.
You got a video. If it had been anybody else, child, they would have been locked up. My child, you're gonna you gonna see what's going on. You see exactly what's going on. All of you do. And I need justice for Shanquella Robinson.
And she's pretty much pointing out, look, if this was, you know, people don't want to bring race into it, but sometimes people actually do, you know. If this was, you know, somebody else, if it was a white girl that got this happened to, would this outcome be the same? If it were somebody else, you know, if it happened somewhere else, if it would happen here, any other possibilities. Pretty much she's saying, listen, y'all, this is my child. Y'all are not going to act like she's a nobody. She's worthless. She's nothing. And she doesn't deserve justice. Y'all are going to treat my child like y'all would do any other child, even your own child or whatever else. You're going to like show respect and get my daughter some justice. So this is Mama Bear. Okay. Hold on.
That's right.
Well, I think nothing, in my experience as an attorney, greases the wheels of justice like litigation. So we're going to see, you know, how the courts fare it out. We're, as Ms. Mondi says, we're hoping for justice. And most importantly, with a family like this, with what has happened, they have an open wound every single day. And you're trying to also heal, but you can't because the wound is not closed. You don't have the information, you don't know what's happening, you're not getting questions resolved. And it's a situation where a lot of the questions that they have can, the answers are there, they're just not being provided with it. And that's what the lawsuit is really about. Miss Mondi, Shanquella's family, they do not want another family to have to go through this. There shouldn't be a way for a United States citizen to be murdered abroad by United States citizens' participation, and for them to be able to come back to the United States and be on base and just be insulated from liability, insulated from accountability, and for the family not to receive closure. That should not be the case. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we filed this lawsuit, because we want to take action and show the authorities that we're serious, that it should not be swept under the rug, that her life mattered, and we're still here, and we're going to continue to fight. So we do appreciate everyone who's here and supporting the family.
Yeah, I will say the volume is low based on where this reporter is standing and everybody else. As far as the questions go, because yeah, it's inaudible. Like I cannot hear the questions myself. Now I'm sure that other people are also filming this, and from a different angle, you might be able to hear questions. But this person right here, they don't have like. It's hard to make out what's being the questions being asked. Should I say?
The issue with respect to the extradition is that the Mexican authorities have advised me that they've taken all the steps pursuant to the treaty that would be needed to be taken. They've done a full investigation. They presented their investigation packet to the proper authorities at the State Department. It would then be up to the U.S. attorney to work in conjunction with the State Department in order to authorize and initiate an extradition, which we would all see publicly because that would be a U.S. federal case where they would have the opportunity, whoever is being extradited, to say there's not enough evidence, there is enough evidence, and have their day in court. This has not been initiated because we would all know about it. So the issue is that process has not even begun, and we're 2 years out from the incident. So that's what we're saying in the complaint, that the U.S. Department of Justice has not initiated that procedure, and it's been 2 years. No, and that's the issue. Any other questions? Going once. Okay.
Yeah, Shanquella was a kind-hearted person, loved people. She would never do no wrong to nobody. I don't say nobody had the heart to do her like that. Unfortunately, we know these people did not have any heart to do my child like that, and she didn't deserve to die like that. You know, and you're gonna take her away from her family, away from out the country to do her harm like that, and all of you sit back now. One of them didn't have no sense to stop it or try to help her. They're gonna sit there and video it and look at it, and because they all had a part to do with it. They all played a part in her murder, and each and every one of them should be arrested because she was a good person. She was never did nothing to hurt nobody. Yeah, she had a few business. She done a little bit of everything. She done kids' hair, sold clothes, worked at an insurance office, and she just was a lovable, harmless person. Never heard her say anything bad about anybody. Never. And we was very close. her 25 years on this earth, I was close with my daughter, very close to her. Never heard her say nothing wrong about anybody, nothing bad about anybody. She only loved people. And if she could do anything to help you, she would.
Now we all saw like Shanquella when she was at what we saw with her, walking down the hallway in the pool. It seemed like she just wanted to have fun, energetic, laughing, smiling, sociable. And it seems like, Lord. So I definitely do agree that, she was like a sociable, likable person. And Daejhanae obviously was just having a stink attitude, even from when Shanquella was talking about going to the pool and everything. She was like acting stink. Like she's like the type of person that have like a negative attitude. It seems to be negative a lot of times. So anyways, I forgot Daejhanae Jackson, aka, well, not AKA, her new name is Imani Green. Girl, so now your new name is Imani Green. I'm going to make sure that when I'm actually, throughout, my free time, I'm going to go through all my videos with Daejhanae Jackson. I'm going to update the titles to Imani Green / Daejhanae Jackson. Okay. With your new name. So now you cannot run away. And I hope other people do the same thing. Spread the word and spread the message that she has changed her name to Imani Green. So it's going to be a waste of time trying to change your name because it's still going to follow you. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that I keep on, I need to actually keep on checking different ways, because sometimes people can be sneaky about how they try to go about it, for any other future name changes, like she tries to change her name too. Okay.
I feel good to still have support after 2 years.
So she feels good to have support after 2 years. There's people still rallying around her and still wanting justice for Shanquella. Yes, a lot of people are still following this case. They still want justice for Shanquella. And they're not going to really, they're always going to follow the updates and try to help out as best as they can in any way they can. I mean, ultimately, it's up to the FBI and Department of Justice in Mexico, as far as getting justice. Like, we can only do so much as lay people. That's why the family has decided now to file this wrongful death lawsuit, so they can try to get some answers and force people to have to speak, and force people to have to give information, and force people to have to do this and that. I also had filled out, I like to get records myself. So I had also tried to get records, and I had spoke to somebody from the FBI, and I was trying to get records, and they also would not. They said you could fill out the request, but they never really responded to it. So, yeah, they definitely are not releasing anything.
We had a balloon releasing for Shanquella on Saturday, and they had a big turnout. It was very nice. No, it was at the graveside.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take a couple more questions, and then we'll have Miss Gardner.
Yes, there was a recent balloon release for Shanquella. Okay, there was one. I would say check out Shank Rock. There's a channel YouTube creator called Shank Rock. He has a lot of pictures and videos from his rock squad and people for that Shanquella balloon release. Okay, hold on.
I guess it's good afternoon about now, but I would just like to say that she was a very loving person. I guess I could say I was kind of like her babysitter. Cause school opened, her mother had to be at work so early in the morning. She would always drop off at my house, and she'd stay there at the time to go to school. And she was just go getter. That's what Shanquella was. And all the kids just loved her to death. But what I would like to say today is to the six that was with her. My plea, if you're watching this or if you'll be watching this, my plea is to you. And I'm saying,
I would say for some of y'all just getting here, I would just start a replay because I have a phone call about the name change. I also went over the document. So for everybody's sake, if you're just getting here, I'll just catch the replay to catch up with what's going on. Okay. Because it's already been discussed. Hold on.
to you, I'm standing first, y'all. I'm standing for God. That's who I believe in. I'm standing for him on behalf of the Robinson family. And I would like to say to those 6, no matter where you go, you're not going to be able to run from this situation. And what God would have me to say to you all today, he is a God of a second chance. And it's time for each one of you to come forth for the part that you played in. Because none of you could be friends, because if you were friends, you would not have done this. So it's time for you to step forward and take your part in this situation. See, because man is not a second chance man. And God will forgive. And you got to come out. No matter what lawyer you get, you will never be able to pay him to get you off. So it's time now. You know, it's just like a ball game. It's 3 strikes. So y'all have had 2 strikes. And that 3rd strike, it means you're out. And when God takes control, can't nobody help you. No matter who it is, your mother, your father, or anyone can help you. And you know, it's just sad that people, I don't understand how they haven't done anything. I'm like Miss Robinson. When they sent the film to me, and by the way, I had the privilege, I'm a pastor, and I had a privilege.
So the pastor is trying to plead to the Cabo 6 to come forward to, speak and, come clean or just, but I don't think that's going to work because a lot of people have been doing that throughout time, trying to, get the Cabo 6 to speak. And to be honest, the only person that has spoken or has actually said anything has been actually not Nazir Wiggins. Everybody else has been mute and on. It's been crickets. So now with this new lawsuit, people have to respond, or most likely they will have to respond. I mean, they don't have to respond, but then they could lose by default, whatever. So, I mean, this is actually going to compel some people to come forward and speak or have to, yeah. So this is actually a good thing. So I'm actually curious to know and interested to know about how this is actually going to play out. Okay. Yeah.
Privilege to pastor Shanquella for over a year and a half. And I enjoyed her being under my leadership. She was always there, always loving, always cutting up. She doing what Shanquella do. But to the 6, can't no lawyer help you. I promise you, no matter what you're paying, because Bible said that vengeance is mine. And God promised, and I believe in him. He said, vengeance is.
This is the pastor, and they're having this at a church, okay? So again, I will catch the replay because I went over this as well about they're having this presser at a church. And so this is one of the speakers that they're having there. Hold on.
Mine, and he said, I will make them pay. So to the Robinson family, keep your head up. Remember Shanquella as she was. And I know that nothing we can do is going to bring Shanquella back. And I believe if God would just give us the opportunity to just speak to Shanquella, Shanquella will tell y'all, I'm all right now. I don't want to come back to this so mean world. She wouldn't want to come back here because we are still back here fighting to try to stay alive, to try to love one another, try to be kind to one another. And still, it's hard. But young people, say to yourself, don't worry about the other ones, but don't say to yourself, I'm going forward now. I'm going to take responsibility for the part that I played. Because this was a choice. This wasn't a mistake y'all made. It was a choice. And when you make choices in life, There's a consequence behind every choice that you make. And it might take a long time, but God is not going to let you get by. So the sooner you come forward, the sooner you take your part in it, the sooner you can go on with your life. Because no matter what, you didn't have the right. You had no right. You didn't have the right to take a life, no matter what the situation was. So we just pray. We'll keep praying to God. And even though it look like man is failing y'all right now, Monty, God is not. He got your back. And he's going to make everything all right.
Thank you.
All right, just to close, we did make the complaint publicly available. We want to thank local council who's present for their support. We want to thank the community for their support. But most importantly, as Ms. Gardner said, we're in litigation now. So it's a different time. There's going to be accountability in this case. You can see it's 2 years later. We're not going away. The family deserves closure. They deserve answers. Every American citizen deserves that. That is what those are their constitutional rights. That's what we're asking for those constitutional rights to be honored. We're not asking for anything different. We're not asking for anything better. We're not asking them to carve out an exception. We're asking for what every single U.S. American citizen is born with, which are for her constitutional rights and the protections that she deserves under the Constitution to be observed. That's it. That's what we're asking for. And so we're saying whoever ascends to the administration next, whether it be Kamala, whether it be 45, whoever it is, to take this seriously. Let this be a priority. Let this family receive the accountability and the justice and the closure. The community receive the accountability and the justice that they deserve, that as American citizens. And we thank you all for coming. We thank you for continuing to support this family. And we look forward to the victory. We look forward to the victory. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, wait 1 second. So Sue Ann did actually share this article as well. Let me actually turn my music back on. Sue Ann shared this, and from Essence. She spoke with someone at Essence, okay? Magazine about Shanquella. It says it has been wait, hold on. Well, actually, this is not actually new. That's not new. Hold on. Yeah, that's not new. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let me actually check her Twitter page real quick before I get off here. So that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Besides the memorial, well, the tribute. I mean, so let me actually check her. Okay, she actually doesn't have anything there. Hold on. Okay, she said she made it publicly available. So I'm thinking that she's just talking about the actual news people because I don't see it yet. Hold on. Okay, so wait 1 second. Okay, I found it now. Hold on. I think I found it. Hold on. Oh wow, it's 43 pages. It's 43 pages, y'all. Lord have mercy. And I am sleepy, but hold on. Child. Okay, while I get this document ready, let me actually play this tribute. Wait 1 second.
Vote Shanquella Robinson for Homecoming Queen.
Jesus promised me a home over there. No more sickness, sorrow, pain. promised me home over there. Jesus promised me a home over there. Now my sickness, I'm sorrow, pain, I can't. Jesus promised me a home over there.
Can you only imagine? Can you imagine just standing before the king? Oh, I can only imagine what it would be like when I walk by your side. I could only imagine, yeah, what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I could only imagine.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this. This is the actual lawsuit, so I'm actually going to go over it, okay, since we're already here. Hold on one second. So, okay, so make sure y'all support my channel for free by hitting that like button. This is my backup, so since I barely use it, it is a ghost town over here. So support the channel, get this video into the algorithm by simply hitting that like button, okay? So now we have right here, it says County of Mecklenburg, Salamandra Robinson, individually and as a personal representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, deceased. And then these are the defendants. Daejhanae Jackson, aka, well, I keep on saying aka. Y'all gotta give me a minute. Her new name now is Imani Green. Then there's a apostrophe, and then Mani, M-A-N-I Green. That's what she changed her name to. Look at my video title. Daejhanae Jackson, Imani Green, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Nazir Wiggins, United States Department of State, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations, also known as the FBI, which is the acronym. Defendants. It says nature of the action comes now. Plaintiff Salamandra Robinson, and that's her mother. Shanquella's mother says individually and as personal representative of the estate of Shanquella, deceased by and through undersigned counsel, complaining of the actions and inactions of Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Nazir Wiggins, the United States Department of State, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation states as follows. Now, moving forward, I will just say defendants. And when I say defendants, I'm talking about everybody that I just mentioned. All the Cabo 6, United States Department of State, and the Federal FBI, okay? So, jurisdiction, venue, and applicable law. It says venue is proper in this county. That's just saying like that's a proper venue for everybody because that's where most people live there, like the defendants, the deceased also is in that area. So that is the proper venue to hold this case. And then it says notice of claim. Plaintiffs presented timely notices of tort claims pursuant to those statutes and all applicable federal regulations, giving notice of the negligence caused by the acts or omissions of the United States Department of State and the Federal Bureau of Investigation while acting within the scope of their scope of employment with the United States of America under circumstances in which the United States, if a private person, will be liable to the plaintiff in accordance with the laws of the state of North Carolina. Parties: Salamandra Robinson, plaintiff individually and as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, is a resident and citizen of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and the estate of Shanquella Robinson is presently open and pending before the Clerk of Superior Court in Mecklenburg County, and gives the case number. Defendant Daejhanae Jackson is being sued in her individual capacity upon information and belief. She is a resident. Oh, shoot. I might have to edit this document, y'all, because I didn't know how addresses. My bad. I just got it. Well, nobody really cares about some of the defendants' addresses being posted. And some of them are not even at those old addresses. Well, anyways, moving forward, she is a resident and citizen of Guilford County, North Carolina. Now, that's where her name change is at, y'all, in Guilford County. And it says, with a personal address, pretend like you don't see it. Defendant Elise Hyatt is being sued in her individual capacity upon information and belief. She is a resident and citizen of Forsyth County, North Carolina, with a personal address of. Then it says defendant. So pretty much it's gonna go down the line. Defendant Malik Dyer, same information with his address. Winter Donovan, same information, address. Khalil Cook, Nazir Wiggins, and then we have the defendant, United States of State. The United States Department of State is a cabinet level executive agency of the United States of America. United States of America, the agency's mailing address is. Now bear with me, y'all, because I only had like 3 hours of sleep. Okay. Defendant Federal Bureau of Investigation is a federal law enforcement agency of the United States of America. And it says factual allegations. So these are the facts of the case that they have. The murder in Mexico. Shanquella was a vibrant and driven 25-year-old who had already established herself as a remarkable entrepreneur and a beloved community member. As a proud college graduate, she pursued her degree with dedication and passion, embodying the spirit of hard work and perseverance. In addition to her business endeavors, she had a special talent for braiding hair, particularly for children. This skill allowed her to build strong relationships with families in her community because she offered a service that brought confidence and joy to young clients. Her gentle demeanor and creativity made her a favorite among kids and parents. Before her entrepreneurial journey, Shanquella was also a cheerleader known for her infectious enthusiasm and dedication to her team. Her spirited nature and leadership skills were evident in every aspect of her life, inspiring those around her to strive for the best. Tragically, her life was cut short, leaving a profound impact on her community and loved ones. She is remembered not only for her accomplishments and excitement for travel, but also her kindness, positivity, and the light she brought to the lives of so many. Defendants Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins, herein author referred to as Cabo's 6 defendants, were believed to be friends of the decedent Shanquella Robinson. It says Khalil Cook, knowing Shanquella the longest and best, invited her to join the Cabo 6 defendants on what was supposed to be a fun and safe luxury vacation in Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico in October of 2022. Shanquella was invited to attend the trip to Mexico at the last minute because other guests declined or otherwise canceled their plans to join. When she arrived at the Puerto Los Cabos Villa Linda in Mexico on or about October 28, 2022, Shanquella spoke with her mother, Salamandra, Neither Shanquella nor her mother knew that this call will be their last conversation. On or about October 29, 2022, the rest of the Cabo 6 defendants arrived at the villa in Cabo San Lucas, as evidenced by the CaboVillas.com private villa and condo guest register, attached as Exhibit A and fully incorporated by reference herein. On or about October 29, 2022, defendant Daejhanae brutally attacked Shanquella Robinson in one of the bedrooms at the villa. Defendant Daejhanae repeatedly punched Shanquella in the face, head, neck, and other parts of her body. During the attack, Shanquella was naked, completely exposed, and unable to respond or defend herself. Still, defendant Daejhanae tossed Shanquella around the room in the presence of the other Cabo 6 defendants. It says not one of the other Cabo 6 defendants intervened to assist Shanquella while defendant Daejhanae's violent and relentless attack persisted. Not one of the Cabo 6 defendants attempted to contact local law enforcement during the attack. Instead, the members of the Cabo 6 defendants reveled at the spectacle and recorded the incident that will be shared later on social media. Multiple members of the Cabo 6 defendants can be seen watching the brutal attack with phones out and her yelling at Quella, not defendant Daejhanae. The attack continued for several minutes. Upon information to believe, defendant Winter FaceTime defendant Daejhanae's boyfriend so he could watch the attack. Wow, wait a minute here. It says Winter FaceTime defendant Daejhanae's boyfriend so he could watch the attack. Upon information to believe, defendant Daejhanae's boyfriend cheered her on as she continued to strike Shanquella. Upon information to believe, there was nothing Shanquella could have done to warrant this fatal attack. No one tried to console or help Quella with her severe and apparently painful injuries. When members of the Cabo 6 defendants finally called the villa concierge, hours later, they requested medical personnel to get Quella hydrated and implied that she needed to be treated for alcohol poisoning. Shanquella was not verbally responsive and was lethargic prior to the doctor arriving upon the scene. Defendant Khalil contacted Salamandra, advising that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning and that the Cabo 6 defendants were going to put her in the shower. When the doctor arrived, Quella was unable to advocate for her own medical treatment or advise the doctor that she had been beaten because her injuries were rendered her injuries rendered her unable to speak. None of the Cabo 6 defendants told the doctor that Quella was a victim of blunt force to the head and neck. None of the Cabo 6 defendants provided any information to the doctor about the brutal attack. The Cabo 6 defendants continuously told the doctor that Quella was sick from drinking too much alcohol and did not need to be transported to the local hospital for immediate medical attention. After taking Quella's vitals, it became clear to the doctor that Quella needed more than hydration. The doctor implored the Cabo 6 defendants to authorize Quella's immediate transportation to the hospital and notified her supervisor when the Cabo 6 defendants indicated they would not provide authorization. Attached as Exhibit B and fully incorporated by reference herein is the physician's interview report. Oh wow, they got the physician's interview report. So she did say something about in the complaint has all the stuff from Mexico. Yeah. Let me get me a coffee, child, because hold on. Her vital signs were dangerously abnormal. The Cabo 6 defendants, I'm just going to say Cabo 6, okay? The Cabo 6 denied Shanquella this life-saving treatment by refusing to authorize transportation for her. The Cabo 6 defendants insisted that Shanquella only be treated with fluids for alcohol poisoning. The doctor repeatedly requested authorization from the Cabo 6 to transport Quella via ambulance to the hospital because her vital signs were weakening. Furthermore, the doctor provided information about local public hospitals that could treat Quella at no cost. Oh wow! So the doctor provided information about local public hospitals that could treat her at no cost. The Cabo 6 defendants still refused. Defendant Khalil called Salamandra, her mother, right, and told her that Quella needed medical treatment for dehydration. Defendant Khalil requested Shanquella's social security number, insurance information, and $5,000 USD, United States dollars. Okay. Salamandra provided the social security number and advised that everything else would be in her purse. Defendant Khalil never told Salamandra that Quella was dying, was violently attacked by defendant Daejhanae, or, her name is Imani Green by now, y'all, okay? Or otherwise unsafe. Instead, defendant Khalil insisted that Quella was merely dehydrated and needed an IV. At all times during the final moments of Quella's life, Salamandra was unable to communicate directly with villa staff, local law enforcement, or medical personnel to get the truth of her daughter's condition. The doctor requested help from the Cabo 6 so that she could attempt resuscitation. Defendant Malik remained in the room while all the other members of the Cabo 6 defendants left. When Quella no longer had a pulse, the doctor called 911 to notify law enforcement that emergency services were needed. 3 emergency medical service providers arrived at the villa, including the Mexican Red Cross. All 3 ambulance agencies confirmed that Quella could not be transported to the hospital at this point because she no longer had any measurable vital signs. Quella was pronounced dead at the villa in the presence of medical personnel and all of the Cabo 6 defendants on October 29, 2022. According to the autopsy report, Shanquella's cause of death was a spinal cord injury and atlas luxation attached as Exhibit C and fully incorporated by reference herein as an excerpt of the autopsy report. According to the autopsy report, Quella's cause of death was a spinal cord injury and atlas luxation attached as Exhibit C. And it says, police officers arrived to prepare the necessary paperwork and take Quella's body to the morgue. During his interview with law enforcement, defendant Khalil claimed Quella got the bruises on her head and arms from a fall in the pool. Oh, wow. Y'all, this is going to give almost a lot of information that, we've been wondering about. So, law enforcement questioned Khalil. He claimed Shanquella got the bruises on her head and arms from a fall in the pool. At no point during this interview did he inform law enforcement of defendant Daejhanae's violent attack on Quella. Furthermore, defendant Khalil never told the doctor or any responding physicians that Shanquella fell in the pool. So that's a cover-up right there. Yeah. Shortly after law enforcement arrived at the villa, the Cabo 6 defendants packed their belongings and requested transportation to get dinner. Defendant Daejhanae and defendant Khalil took Quella's belongings and suitcase with them when they exited the villa. Neither defendant Daejhanae nor any of the other Cabo 6 defendants checked out of the villa. Once in the vehicle, the Cabo 6 defendants told the driver to take them to a hotel near the airport. The Cabo 6 returned to the United States the next morning, a full day ahead of schedule, without disclosing the attack or the injuries sustained by Quella to the Mexican authorities. Wait 1 second. Shout out to Tribal. Happy 24-month anniversary. Happy 2-year anniversary. Yes, hashtag justice for Quella. Hashtag justice for Shanquella. And I appreciate you for being a member and a mod. I appreciate it, girl. Also, shout out to OG Tan Baby. Thank you so much, OG Tan Baby, for the fan funding super sticker. Again, shout out to OG Tan Baby for the super sticker. I appreciate the support. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button. When the Cabo 6 defendants arrived in North Carolina, each of the defendants worked in concert to conceal information about the facts and circumstances of Quella's death from her family and law enforcement. Defendant Daejhanae and defendant Khalil came to Salamandra's house and returned Shanquella's suitcase. In Salamandra's home, while she was grieving the immeasurable loss of her child, defendant Daejhanae and defendant Khalil offered her condolences. They offered their condolences for Quella's passing from alcohol poisoning. Salamandra became ill and experienced and exhibited symptoms of exhibited symptoms of sleeplessness, anxiety, depression, and other forms of severe mental distress as a result of learning of her daughter's untimely death. So the next part is getting into the viral video. Wait 1 minute. Yeah, my bad. I had to plug in my computer real quick before it died on us. Okay. Wait. Okay, so the viral video. The disturbing video footage depicting the defendant Daejhanae beating Quella was released on or about November 15, 2022 to circulate the internet. Still images of the viral video are attached as Exhibit D and fully incorporated by reference herein. Weeks after Quella's death, Cabo 6 defendants continue to perpetuate the lie that alcohol poisoning was Shanquella's cause of death. The Cabo 6 defendants did not warn or advise Salamandra that footage of Ms. Quella being brutally attacked in the last moments of her life was circulating the web. Upon watching the gruesome footage, Salamandra experienced renewed anxiety, depression, and other forms of severe mental distress. I would just say Shanquella's mother, okay? Salamandra's trauma was exacerbated as family members, friends, and strangers discovered the video. Other media outlets played the video repeatedly on television and on social media platforms. Shanquella's mother continues to suffer from mental distress as a result of defendants' wrongful actions and inescapable exposure to the triggering footage. Denied records request. The FBI informed Salamandra that it opened an investigation into the murder of Shanquella in November 2022. In April of 2023, the FBI advised Salamandra, her family, and the public that no enforcement proceedings would commence and the agency will not be pursuing a federal prosecution of any of the Cabo 6 defendants. An initial records request seeking non-exempt FBI records from 10/29/2022 to August 1st, 2023, related to Quella was mailed in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act on August 31st, 2023, 4 months after the federal agents stated the conclusion of their investigation into Quella's death. On September 28, 2023, the FBI responded to this request, identifying responsive records and assigning the FOIA request number 1602946-00. The FBI advised that these records were exempted from disclosure under statute U.S. Code. And it says expected to interfere with enforcement proceedings, and this records request was administratively closed. Despite formally closing the case, the FBI refused to return Shanquella's property or provide additional details of their investigation. A year after the federal agents publicly announced the discontinuation of their investigation of Ms. Quella Robinson's unlawful death overseas, a renewed records request was made May 10, 2024. The FBI responded on June 6, 2024. The agency did not, however, confirm or deny the existence of responsive records. Furthermore, the FBI's June 6 response did not indicate whether the request was being processed, when documents were expected to be released, whether any exemptions applied to the requested documents, or whether the responsive records would be posted to the FBI's electronic FOIA library, the Vault. The only indication that responsive records may have been identified was the request number, and then it says which was identical to the 2023 request. In an email received on June 13, 2024, the FBI constructively denied the renewed request by stating the estimated date of completion will be sometime within 2010 days, over 5 years. Wow. In an attempt to justify the unreasonable delay of over 5 years, the FBI characterized the request as complex. According to the agency, requests are processed in the order in which they are received through the multi-track processing system. According to the FBI, complex requests are requests having over 40 pages of potentially responsive documents. These requests are then assigned to the large track if the potentially responsive pages are between 501 pages and 4,999 pages. The agency aims to further extend this a more amorous timeline by claiming the search for amorphous timeline by claiming the search for responsive records is ongoing for the request, so we do not yet know into which track it will fall. The FBI claims it will take over 5 years to produce previously identified documents related to an investigation that took the agency 6 months to close. Now, when they reported the case back, when they said they were not going to press charges on anybody, they said at that time that they were still going to be accepting any information from anybody that had any information. So they were kind of being on the fence about whether it was going to be open or closed. They were not saying it was completely closed. They said that they were not going to they were not going to bring anybody in for like criminal charges at that time. At the same time, they were not going to completely shut the case or close the case to where they wouldn't be accepting any tips or anything. So they kind of left it in limbo. And I think they left it in limbo so they could do this very thing, which is not give records. Because usually records are not released until the case is fully closed. But by having it in limbo, they can kind of like say it's still kind of open or whatever. Hold on. So again, they were saying the agency aims to further extend this amorphous timeline by claiming so they really just don't want to release any information. I get the same thing in some other places like DeSoto, Texas. They rarely want to release anything. They're always claiming that something is still open or pending or something, some sort of excuse to why they don't release records. Okay, so let's go ahead. An appeal of this constructive denial was submitted on behalf of Salamandra and denied. So these are getting into the causes of action. Wrongful death, Daejhanae Jackson. But this is actually for Daejhanae Jackson. Pay attention. For causes of action, wrongful death at the top right here, they actually put in parentheses Daejhanae Jackson. So we're gonna be observant and pay attention moving forward. If they're gonna name specific people for certain causes of action, or everybody's gonna be included. And in this section right here, they're showing Daejhanae Jackson. Okay. And it says, plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 94 as if they were fully set forth herein. And by 1 through 94, you can actually see that this is actually line 95. So they're trying to let you know that this is actually all going to be incorporated. Okay. And it says 96 right here. It says defendant Daejhanae viciously attacked Quella, causing her fatal injuries. Undoubtedly, it says Shanquella suffered excruciating personal injury, pain, and suffering prior to her death. Had decedent survived, had Decedent survived, she would have been entitled to bring an action against defendant Daejhanae for damages. So they're saying, like, you know, if Shanquella had survived, she would have had injuries, because we can clearly see Daejhanae beating and viciously beating Shanquella. So she could have actually sued her for injuries to her body if she were alive. So just because she's no longer here and she's deceased, it doesn't mean that she's still not entitled to some sort of, you know, damages and for her injuries and pain and suffering. So that's what they're saying right here, that Daejhanae clearly viciously attacked her. And so, you know, so that they actually brought up a good point right here. We can clearly see that Daejhanae has injured Shanquella by viciously attacking her in that video, and Shanquella would have been able to sue her if she were alive. So yeah, so that's a good point. So that's already a good case right here against Daejhanae. Okay, it says pursuant to North Carolina general statute, gives that statute, says those persons being identified as beneficiaries, including Salamandra, who has suffered the following damages and is entitled to compensation. Hold on one second. Okay, so had the decedent survived, she would have been entitled to bring action. So let me go down. I already passed that part. So now it says what she's entitled to. Okay. Decedent. I keep on saying decedent. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it says compensation for pain and suffering for the decedent. Compensation for the loss of the reasonably expected net income of the decedent, services, protection, care, and assistance of the decedent. It says society, companionship, comfort, guidance, kindly offices and advice of the decedent to the persons entitled to the damages recovered. Let me actually respond to this email real quick so I won't be distracted. Hold on one second. I apologize. I wasn't expected to be on this long. Hold on. 1 second. Okay, so let me see where I was at. It says, okay, society, companionship, comfort, guidance, kindly offices, and advice of the decedent to the persons entitled to the damages recovered. And it says compensation for the expense of transporting Miss Robinson's body from Mexico, funeral and burial expenses. It says plaintiff Salamandra is says as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella has suffered damages in excess of $25,000 as a result of the wrongful death caused by defendant Daejhanae Jackson. And then it goes into count 2. It says simple battery by Daejhanae Jackson. And it says plaintiff real alleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 199 as if they were fully set forth herein. Defendant Daejhanae intentionally and repeatedly punched, kicked, and hit Shanquella. Shanquella Robinson did not consent to this offensive physical contact at any point during the altercation. As seen on the video, Shanquella was unresponsive as Daejhanae violently punched, hit, and tossed her across the room. Neither her nudity nor her apparent physical lethargy deterred defendant Daejhanae from continuing her attack. It says defendant Daejhanae's offensive contact directly caused Shanquella's Robinson's fatal injuries. But right here, they're pretty much stating, look, those direct attacks on Shanquella's person and body caused her fatal injuries by Daejhanae. Okay, now remember on that whole thing for wrongful death, they only named Daejhanae Jackson. They didn't name other people for the wrongful death portion. Now, plaintiff Salamandra, as the personal representative of the state of Shanquella, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000 as a result of the battery caused by defendant Daejhanae. Now, this is for count 3 right here, and it says negligence. Now, pay attention. Next to it says Cabo 6 defendants. So in this section right here, this is addressing all for count 3. This is applying and applicable to all Cabo 6 defendants, not just Daejhanae. So it looks like they're just blaming Daejhanae for the actual, like the wrongful death portion of that, like the main part, and then now they're going to get into the part for negligence for Cabo 6. So let's see what it says. It says plaintiff real-alleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 104 as if they were fully set forth herein. It says defendants Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins owe Shanquella Robinson a duty of reasonable care. Each of the Cabo 6 defendants breached their duty by lying to medical staff in Mexico and failing to disclose critical, potentially life-saving information. Alternatively, each of the Cabo 6 defendants breached their duty to Shanquella Robinson by refusing to authorize imperative medical transportation. The Cabo 6 defendants' failure to disclose critical information directly and proximately caused Shanquella's wrongful death. At all times, medical staff in Mexico was unaware of the blunt force to Shanquella's head and neck and was precluded from assessing these injuries and acting promptly to save her life. So basically, the Cabo 6 should have let the medical personnel know that she had been brutally attacked. So that way they can properly assess her and save her life. You know, like when you go to the doctor, you tell them, they say, what's wrong? You give them information like, oh, my throat or my back, I'm feeling pain here, or this, or I just fell, or I did this. That kind of information can kind of guide them and kind of help them to assess you and quickly assess you, make an assessment. If you go in there, you don't tell them anything and you just want them to guess or try to guess what's happening or guess what's wrong with you, then it's going to take longer to assess you or figure out what's wrong. So they're saying that the Cabo 6 could have assisted by simply stating that she had been brutally attacked and hit about her body and this or that happened, so then they can know what to properly do and also what to properly bring. And to be honest, if they actually had told the truth, police would have been already sent out there. And also, they would have already realized that they didn't need to bring anything like an IV because it wasn't alcohol poisoning. It was actually savagely beaten. So then they would not have actually sent out a doctor. They would have said, no, she needs to be immediately transported to the hospital. Okay. So the fact that they lied, it kind of like prolonged her getting a medical attention, which is actually what? Negligence. And it says Shanquella died in part because each of the Cabo 6 defendants impeded the life-saving treatment she needed. Plaintiff Salamandra, as a personal representative of the state of Shanquella, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000 as a result of the actions and inaction of each of the Cabo 6 defendants: Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. So not only their actions, but their inactions, their failure to act and to do something. Now let's go on to the next one. It says this is for civil conspiracy, and as you can see, for this count, it says Cabo 6 defendants. So this is still addressing all Cabo 6 defendants for this count for civil conspiracy. Wait 1 second. Okay, so it says plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 111 as if they were fully set forth herein. And again, this is for count 4 civil conspiracy for all Cabo 6 defendants. And it gives all the Cabo 6 defendants' names. And then it says, agreed to conceal and destroy evidence connected to Shanquella Robinson's death. The Cabo 6 defendants knowingly concealed critical information from medical staff and law enforcement in Mexico in order to evade culpability for Shanquella's death and return to the United States. Each of the Cabo 6 defendants conspired to impede all investigation into the wrongful death of Shanquella in the United States and Mexico because any investigation would reveal their criminal and civil wrongdoing, including but not limited to defendant Daejhanae's battery and the Cabo 6 defendants' negligence. Upon information and belief, Cabo 6 defendants tampered with evidence at the crime scene, including but not limited to rummaging through Shanquella Robinson's purse and luggage. As planned, the Cabo 6 defendants' scheme to conceal and destroy evidence did not conclude once they departed from Mexico. Upon information and belief, the parties agreed to continue to conceal information and evidence related to Shanquella Robinson's death from law enforcement in the United States. Upon information and belief, when they arrived in the United States, each of the Cabo 6 defendants discussed how autopsy results, especially Shanquella's neck injuries, will criminally implicate them. Bound to the conspiracy agreement, members of the Cabo 6 provided false information to and omitted critical information from Shanquella's family. Plaintiff Salamandra individually and as the personal representative of the state of Shanquella Robinson has suffered damages in the excess of $25,000 as a result of the actions and inaction of each of the Cabo 6 defendants, Daejhanae Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. Count 5, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, this is again addressed to, in parentheses, all Cabo 6 defendants. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 120 as if they were fully set forth herein. The Cabo 6 defendants knowingly released a video depicting the defendant Daejhanae viciously attacking Shanquella while she was naked, unarmed, and defenseless. Shanquella's intimate body parts were fully exposed in the room of Cabo 6 defendants and on the footage being disseminated on the internet without her consent. Members of the Cabo 6 posted this explicit video on social media knowing Shanquella's loved ones will be severely psychologically impacted by watching without warning the gruesome violence that ended her life. The Cabo 6 defendants intentionally posted this video to further expose and embarrass Shanquella and her family, including her mother, Salamandra. None of the Cabo 6 defendants warned Salamandra that this video would be released to the internet. It is highly foreseeable that posting this triggering video of the violent attack of Shanquella, her last moments alive, would cause Salamandra severe emotional distress. The gruesome video not only reached the community of North Carolina residents connected to the Cabo 6 defendants, but also went viral, spreading at lightning speed across the internet. Salamandra, in fact, suffered severe emotional distress, including but not limited to severe depression, sleeping disorders, and anxiety from the inescapable posting and reporting of this footage. While grieving her child, Salamandra was subjected to view Shanquella callously and brutally beaten to death. Plaintiff Salamandra, individually and as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000 as a result of the intentional actions and inaction of each of the Cabo 6 defendants, names all six. And then now we're in count 6. Negligent infliction of emotional distress, Cabo 6 defendants. Again, this is all Cabo 6 in this for count 6. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 130 as if they were fully set forth herein. The Cabo 6 defendants owe Salamandra a duty to use ordinary care. The Cabo 6 defendants knowingly disclosed and circulated a video depicting defendant Daejhanae viciously attacking Shanquella. The explicit and violent video was posted on the social media platform accessible to millions of users. At all times, material here too, it was foreseeable that the rampant circulation of this violent and explicit video would cause Salamandra severe emotional distress. Once the video went viral on the internet, it was foreseeable that Salamandra Robinson would not only have a visceral reaction to the last moments of her daughter's life, but also that such repetitive exposure would cause severe emotional distress. Salamandra, in fact, suffered severe emotional distress, including but not limited to severe depression, sleeping disorders, and anxiety as a direct and approximate result of each of the Cabo 6 defendants' actions and inaction. And it says, alternatively, each of the Cabo 6 defendants owed a duty to use ordinary care in seeking medical care for Shanquella. Each of the Cabo 6 defendants breached that duty by withholding critical life-saving information from medical staff in Mexico. And it says Salamandra suffered severe emotional distress as a direct and proximate result of each of the Cabo 6 defendants' negligence, including their inaction, which caused Shanquella her wrongful death. Salamandra suffered severe emotional distress, a foreseeable result of this negligence. So it's kind of like repetitive at the very tail end of each of these counts. They're pretty much going to say that she suffered emotional distress. It was foreseeable result of this negligence and things like that. And they're also going to mention this whole $25,000 spiel. It says plaintiff Salamandra Robinson, individually and as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000 as a result of the actions and inaction of each of the Cabo 6 defendants. Daejhanae Jackson gives to all the defendants. Count 7, negligence. So now we're getting into the Department of State and what this count is going to be about, the Department of State and what they failed to do. This says plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 141 as if they were fully set forth herein. Salamandra, as the administrative of Shanquella Robinson estate, brings this claim under the federal torts claim. For more than 160 years, the United States and Mexico have maintained an extradition relationship. At the conclusion of the murder investigation conducted by the Mexican authorities, upon information to believe, an extradition request was submitted to the Department of State for defendant Daejhanae. Notwithstanding the extradition request, upon information to believe, the Department of State failed to forward the request for extradition to the Criminal Division's Office of International Affairs as required. This failure to submit the extradition request has permitted international fugitive defendant Daejhanae, Imani Green is her new name, by the way, to avoid facing legal proceedings for the murder she committed in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. As a result of the United States Department of State's inaction and undue delay, plaintiff Salamandra, individually and as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000. Now, this is right here about count 8. This is about negligence, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So this is targeted right here, directed at the FBI in this segment. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 148 as if they were fully set forth herein. Salamandra, as administrative of Shanquella Robinson estate, brings this claim under the Federal Tort Claims Act. 28 United States Code gives that. It says the FBI has the authority and the non-discretionary duty to investigate murders of American citizens that occur overseas. The FBI advised Salamandra that an investigation into the death of her daughter, Shanquella, had commenced. This investigation was closed a few months later. As the mother of the deceased, the FBI owed Salamandra a duty to thoroughly investigate the death of Shanquella, maintain her personal property in good condition, and to inform Salamandra of the status of the investigation. The FBI breached this duty by failing to respond to this investigation with the appropriate seriousness and urgency. Their unreasonable delay to investigate and mishandling of evidence led to the erosion and destruction of evidence. If the FBI had complied with its duties and statute to investigate, critical evidence would have been preserved. Due to the FBI's delay, the quality of the second autopsy completed by United States authorities was compromised. As Shanquella's body had been altered by embalming chemicals, decomposition, and the effects of being subjected to a full autopsy by Mexican authorities. At all times, material here too, the FBI was aware that the members of the Cabo Six were persons of interest in the murder of Shanquella. The Mexican authorities have maintained that Shanquella was killed by the dislocation of vertebrae in her neck caused by the barrage of punches from defendant Daejhanae. The FBI's incomplete investigation directly and approximately caused the damages suffered by Salamandra and the estate of Shanquella. Notably, the FBI's inaction has impeded Salamandra Robinson and her family's ability to receive closure and justice from the criminal prosecution of Shanquella Robinson's murderer. As a result of the inaction and undue delay in investigating the murder of Shanquella Robinson, plaintiff Salamandra Robinson, individually and as the personal representative of the estate of Shanquella Robinson, has suffered damages in excess of $25,000. Okay, now the next one is it's going to be for failure to properly release records, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So we're getting into the next one. This is directed towards the FBI, okay? And it says plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all allegations and statements in paragraphs 1 through 161 as if they were fully set forth herein. And it says defendant FBI is an agency subject to and within the meaning of the Freedom of Information Act. And it says plaintiff Salamandra by and through counsel submitted FOIA request. So that's like a Freedom of Information Act, okay? Requesting records within the possession, custody, and control of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI is obligated under 5 U.S. statute, U.S. codes, okay? And it says to produce records responsive to plaintiff's FOIA request. As represented in the FBI investigations response, the agency has in its possession responsive non-exempt documents, including those specifically identified in plaintiff's request that they have failed to produce. Defendant FBI is their withholding of non-exempt records violates the FOIA. So they're saying they're violating FOIA by withholding records. If you have commenced this investigation has concluded, you need to release certain properties. You need to release information in certain documents. We need to know what you have done with this case. You have not done everything you're supposed to be doing. There's a failure here. So now that's why the FBI has been sued. Shout out to Hollywood. Thank you so much. She says, thank you so much for your diligence and raising awareness. Oh, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Again, shout out to you. I appreciate the fan funding, the super sticker, and everybody else. Remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button. And it says, wherefore a plaintiff requests this court order defendant to immediately process release any and all responsive records, enjoin defendant from withholding non-exempt responsive documents, award plaintiff his cost and reasonable attorney's fees, and grant other relief the court deems just and proper. And then now this says prayer for relief. Wherefore plaintiffs for the causes of action pray this honorable court for relief as follows. Hold on one second. The entry of judgment against Daejhanae Jackson in favor of the plaintiff for count 1, wrongful death in the amount in excess of $25,000. So with that being said, they're accusing Daejhanae of the actual death of wrongful death. So they're blaming her for the actual unaliving of Shanquella. And then the others, negligence and things like that. Concealment is, the whole list I just read, different count. So then it says the entry of judgment against Daejhanae Jackson in favor of the plaintiff for count 2, battery in the amount in excess of $25,000. For Daejhanae, that's for that one, for count 1 and 2 right there. And then the entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, and they list her here as well, and all the Cabo 6, in favor of the plaintiff for count 3, negligence in the amount in excess of $25,000. And then moving to D, the entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, all the Cabo 6, in favor of the plaintiff for count 4, civil conspiracy in an amount in excess of $25,000. So they at least want $25,000 for each one of these counts. Some of these are, 2 of them are just Daejhanae. Some are all the Cabo 6, including Daejhanae. And then some, we're going to continue down the line. Okay, hold on. And it says the entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants in favor of the plaintiff for count 5, intentional infliction of emotional distress in an amount in excess of $25,000. The entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, and then labels all the defendants, in favor of the plaintiff for count 6, negligent infliction of emotional distress in the amount of excess of $25,000. So negligent infliction of emotional distress. And then the entry of judgment against the United States Department of State. So this one right here, this count is for 7, and right here is for the Department of State in favor of the plaintiff for count 7, negligence in the amount in excess of $25,000. The next one, count 8, is for negligence in the amount of in excess of $25,000, and that's for the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And then right here it says injunctive relief from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And then it's for J, it says an order compelling the immediate release of responsive records from the FBI. And then also award compensatory damages to the plaintiff and against the defendants. Award punitive, punishment kind of things. Award punitive damages to the plaintiff against all individual defendants in an amount to be turned. So basically, in an amount to be determined at trial that will deter such conduct by defendants in the future. Award plaintiff their costs and reasonable attorney's fees. And then also in that all tribal issues of fact be determined by a jury, and for such other and further relief the court deems just and equitable under law. Respectfully submitted, this 25th day of October 2024. Sue Ann Robinson, and she has her, front line, the firm. And then I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of exhibits. So yeah, the rest is going to be exhibits. Exhibit A. This is we already know what this is. Everybody should know this is the guest list, and everybody had to sign, and we already know the whole, stuff with that whole guest list. Exhibit B. This is an interview report. Body institution, this from Baja California Sur, San Jose del Cabo, and November 16, 2022 at 1,400 hours. I think that's like 2, right? I think 1,500 is 3, and I think 1,400 is 2. Let's see. And then Suni Popoko Milan was like the investigator or something, like one of the people there, as I recall. And it says place of interview, which was at the Cabo San Lucas AMC Hospital. That's where this was interviewed. And this is actually interviewing that doctor. So this is our first time seeing the doctor interview, like what was stated from the doctor. Woo, child. I'm scared to scroll through a little bit. Let's see. Information about the interview party. Carolina Beatrice Ornelas Gutierrez, 29. This is the doctor. Education bachelor. Now this is actually different. Like it's not really. She actually does have a higher degree. In the Mexico, it's kind of different when they say bachelor versus United States when we say bachelor's degree. Okay, so yeah. I already showed her credentials before. She actually is a doctor, a medical doctor. So she speaks her native language is, I guess, Spanish, but she speaks English as well. Native of Baja California. Third. Oh, child, they put her phone number, child. They put all this out here, child. Pretend like I don't see it because I didn't redact. And to be honest, I think they gave me her phone number when I called the hospital one time. They actually ended up giving me the phone number. So anyways, interview transcript. This is my statement given to the investigation agent, Suni Jasil Popoko Milian, in relation to the facts that are investigated by the Attorney General's Office of the State of Baja California Sur on October 29th of the year 2022, when I was at my place of work in the AMC Hospital, which means American Medical Center in Cabo San Lucas, in the municipality of Los Cabos, where I work as a general practitioner at 14:13 hours. I think that's 2:13 p.m. It says, 2:13. It says approximately. I was informed by WhatsApp message that medical assistance had been requested for a person in Puerto Los Cabos and San Jose del Cabo at Villa Linda, Puerto Fundadores number 32. The reason for the medical assistance was that the person had consumed a lot of alcohol and they wanted to hydrate her. I arrived at the aforementioned address by means of a hospital vehicle at approximately 15 hours, 3:15, where I was able to see 6 individuals, including Miss Quella. I was received by a male person of dark complexion, slim build, English speaking, approximately 25 years old, as well as by a female of dark complexion, a regular build, dressed in blue, approximately 26 years old. Further back, there was a tall African-American person of a stocky build with a bulging cap on his head, approximately 28 years old. These people pointed out to me a dark-skinned female of African-American descent of slim build, approximately 25 years old, sitting on the couch with her head resting on the top edge of the couch and the rest of her body resting on the couch, covered with a light blanket from the chest down and wearing a blouse. I don't remember the details of it, and purple leggings. Her eyes were open. She was disheveled, dehydrated. Her lips were dry. She did not articulate words, only sounds. She had a blow to the forehead on the right side. No deformities were felt in the skull. She had poor response to light. I proceeded to call her name, which was provided seconds before by her companions. I touched her shoulder. I put myself at her height visually without obtaining any response from the person. So I suggested that she needed to be taken to the hospital. So she said that she was not, able to articulate words, but she was just making sounds. So she was still making sounds. This is again a doctor's statement to the police in Mexico. Okay. I proceeded to take vital signs, temperature of 36 degrees, heart rate of 66, so I guess 36.1 Celsius, heart rate of 66, respiratory rate of 17, pulse saturation by oximeter of 98%, and blood pressure of 98/60. She also had a right conjunctival hemorrhage. They auscultated her heart and lungs. I guess she checked it. Okay. So it's gonna probably get into some medical terminology here. It says I auscultated her heart and lungs. No abnormal sounds were heard. I noticed that her nails were painted with, and her capillary child. I'm not a medical person, so a capillary feeling was delayed, which confirms that she was dehydrated. I informed her companions that, so it says, I guess, capillary feeling was delayed, which confirms that she was dehydrated. I informed her companions that she was dehydrated, but that she need to be evaluated at the hospital. I asked if there was a history of drug use, illnesses, allergies, all denied. I asked how much alcohol she had consumed and what she had consumed. The answer was countless and all kinds. So they pretty much were saying that she was just drinking all kinds of alcohol. This answer was given to me by the female person. Woo, child. They said the female person gave her this answer. Who will be named as person number one and is thin and tall with very long hair. And a second female person, a robust build, tall, dark complexion, who will be identified as number two, who told me that Miss Qualla had drunk a lot. I asked everyone how they related to her. Good job. Now we do know that Elise Hyatt was there, and then of course, no, I'm sure the robust build person was most likely, in dark complexion, was Daejhanae, and then the other person, and thin and tall is definitely not Daejhanae. It's not Winter, so that had to be Elise Hyatt with very long hair. And it says, and I was told that they were all friends from college. To help me with Shanquella's assessment, the male identified as number one, of slim build, dark complexion, about 25 years old, wearing a cap, and the female named Winter, I know her name because the emergency call was made from her number, and it was necessary to provide her name, stayed with me. The girl number two and Winter requested that Shanquella be seen at that address. And the other girl, identified as number one, said that she had been like this before and that she used to get better with hydration. I insisted that it was better for her friend to be taken care of at the hospital and that I can proceed to start hydration, but that she would require assessment and care at the hospital and continue her care there and immediately. So right now, people are wondering about Elise Hyatt and her involvement, and it's clear that she was definitely involved because she's naming Winter, and then she says there's two other females. One is robust, and we already know that's definitely Daejhanae. And then the other one, which is identified, I guess, as one, is the one that is Elise. So Elise was definitely in on that based on this statement. Now, again, I'm going to review this after the live, okay? Let me give a shout out real quick. Shout out to OG10 Baby. Thank you so much for the fan funding. Again, shout out to OG10 Baby. I appreciate the fan funding. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button. So releasing this information is going to ignite a bunch of people's lives and reignite this, because a lot of people are going to be reviewing these statements from the doctor, reviewing these exhibits, and this is going to kind of wake up this case and shake it up. And also this lawsuit. So that was actually a smart idea, to actually revive and reignite this lawsuit, to get everybody talking about it again, and also to get it investigated and get people into that courtroom, right? So the doctor says, I insisted that it was better for her friend to be taken care of at the hospital, and that I can proceed to start hydration, but that she would require assessment and care at the hospital and continue her care there and immediately. That they needed to notify family members to find out if they will be in charge, since there were no direct family members, to which they are reluctant. Winter and the girl number 2 told me that they had the means to pay me, but they did not have the money to pay an expensive hospital bill. The girl number 2 is, I'm thinking that's Daejhanae, okay? I did not want to receive any kind of remuneration, taking into account that it was going to be necessary to cover the cost of the materials, either on site or outside. I insisted on taking her to the hospital. I informed them that there were public hospitals that had no cost. So the doctor told them that there were places, hospitals with no cost, and told them to ask the family members if Shanquella had any type of insurance, and told them to start making the calls because she had to be treated in the hospital. The one who stayed to assist me was the male identified with number 1, who helped me to hold her hand to try to place an IV. While they were deliberating what to do, I know that the female identified as number 2 and Winter called someone reporting Shanquella's condition and the need to make decisions. They insisted during the call that Shanquella was only dehydrated and only needed an IV, and that I was insisting on taking her to a hospital, but they had no money. In turn, I called my boss, Dr. Alvaro Atilano, who confirmed that if I felt it was necessary to take her to the hospital, to emphasize to her friends the need to take her to the hospital. So the doctor kept on saying she needs to go to the hospital. There are some actually that are free and things like that, and they were deliberating. They were not really wanting to take her. And the main people, I guess, right here was Winter and Daejhanae, that were kind of like going over or debating that. And that I must not move her under any circumstance. So she's speaking to her supervisor, her boss, and letting him know. And then her supervisor is pretty much saying, no, she needs to go to the hospital if you're saying she needs to go. And to emphasize that. And also, not to move her under any circumstances if they do not accept, and that in case they do not reach a decision, that I should leave the place. I then informed them that I could not place the IV because she is dehydrated and does not speak well. Their new response was that they did not have a car to take her in, to which I told them to call 911 to look for a way to take her there. They replied that all that cost money. They asked me which hospital they could take her to, and I told them the nearest public hospital or the closest hospital. They deliberate again, and I tell them that I am going to leave. They tell me that they were already checking with her relatives to see if she had insurance, and asked me to try to place the IV one last time. For the 3rd time, I tried to place an IV in her left arm, and I succeeded. But when I tried to secure the IV, she began to have generalized tonic-clonic convulsions. At that moment, the person identified as female number 1, Winter, and the male identified as number 1 were present. So that's the least. It looks like Winter and then the male identified as number 1 were present. During the convulsions, the IV came out. I compressed her hand. They got scared, and I told them not to move her. I told them not to put anything in her mouth, and that now they really need to call 911. Then Winter told me to do it myself, to which I told her that she needed to make the call because I had to take care of Quella. Then I realized her sphincter had relaxed. At that moment, the male identified as number 1 told me that she had peed already. This changed my perspective and reinforced the need for a complete evaluation in a complete imaging studio with urgent hospital attention and transfer by ambulance. After a few minutes, and when Shanquella stopped convulsing, I realized her companions were gone. Only male number 1 and Winter had stayed with me. I did proceed to monitor her vital signs as much as I could. I request support to position her airway and verify that 911 is being called. Winter called and passed me her phone. I report a female in post ictal state, requested an urgent unit. I noticed that abnormal sounds are heard in her breathing rates or breathing rails, and it is difficult to open the airway due to trismus. Her saturation was low. So wow, yeah, this is very disturbing. So pretty much they were really just not wanting to get her help. And even if the doctor said there was free help, like free public places or free hospitals, they did not really want to get her help at all. And even when told to call 911, it looks like Winter didn't want to call herself. And then even when she finally called, she handed the doctor the phone. So it's kind of like they were kind of waiting for her to die. Like they didn't want her to get help. They wanted her to die. So they can kind of hide their crime. And to be honest, you see that in movies all the time where they don't want to get a person help. They just let the person die so that way the person can't speak for themselves or get better and tell on them or anything else. So they kind of want the person to pass away so the person won't be able to get better and tell what happened, to testify against them. By this time, about an hour had elapsed. So it says, by this time, about an hour had elapsed. Patient with pulse, increased respiratory effort. Help is requested from the only friend left within my reach, who is the male identified as number 1, to look for a hard plastic tube to keep her mouth open. I'm thinking the number 1 person, the male, is actually Nazir. So I'm thinking Nazir is the one that's mainly the one helping, based on what he stated and stuff that already came out, I guess. It says to look for a hard plastic tube to keep her mouth open. He asked me to transfer Shanquella in my vehicle, to which I tell him that she is in serious condition and requires an ambulance. He then left and I was left alone with her, and I try to position the airway. Take a pulse at 1649. She is detected without pulse. I guess that's like 449. It says verbally I shouted to them. She no longer has a pulse, so she's shouting to them. No longer has one. They had left out of the room. She said, I need help. The thin girl identifies number 1, looks out, panics, and leaves. Oh, wow. So that's the least. Now, she was supposed to be in some sort of CNA or something, right? And it says, male number 1 helps me lower her to the floor next to the couch and place her in a flat position. I called 911. This is just a mess, y'all. This is horrible. I called 911, indicate this was as follows up to the previous report that the patient is now in arrest. CPR maneuver is initiated with me giving compressions and his friend helping me with rescue ventilation. Until the Red Cross ambulance arrived about 5 minutes after she went into arrest. I asked them to transfer the patient by ambulance, but they refused, saying that they cannot take her without a pulse. The same thing that the other 3 ambulances that came to the scene told me. One of the paramedics managed to place an IV. Hold on one second. So I got a response. Oh, this is something completely different, off topic. I keep forgetting. Okay, I'll have to talk about that on my main channel again. Hold on. One second. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's see where we were at. So one of the paramedics managed to place an IV. Then the other 3 responder teams joined in. The AED device is placed, and they were advised not to discharge. Immediately, it says illegible right here. A cannula is placed and ventilation with a big mask. I am informed that there is laryngeal mask, but cannot be placed because there is still trismus. I insist on transferring the patient. 5 ampules of adrenaline were applied in 2 resuscitation efforts. So 2 resuscitation efforts until they accepted my advice, and they were told via monitor to discharge, and defibrillation was performed 6 times. Hold on one second. So defibrillation was performed 6 times. The monitor was placed with a systolic trace, and her friends were informed that there was no response. After approximately 1 hour of maneuvers, I informed one of her friends, identified as male number 2, a regular build, dark complexion, bald, bearded, who asked me why they did not take her to a hospital, to which I replied that no paramedic accepted to transfer her to a hospital in her condition. He was shaken and left the scene. The paramedics informed me that there was no longer any motor response, and that the monitor was in a systolic, and that there was no adrenaline left, and that in that condition they were not going to transfer her. Hold on one second. Another attempt at reanimation was made. No pulse was detected in a systolic without any attempt of motor response, with dilated pupils, without pupillary or corneal response. So she was declared deceased at 17:57 hours. At the end of the third round of maneuvers, the municipal police officers had already arrived at the scene and did not interfere in any way. Only in one of the relays that were made, they asked me about the patient's conditions, to which I responded that she needed to be transferred to the hospital, letting the medics work. After she was declared deceased, I waited for them to finish interviewing one of the Red Cross paramedics, as he was one of the first to arrive in the ambulance. One of the officers took my statement, and about 10 minutes before the end of the interview, Giovanni, the administrator, arrived, and the officers told me that I could not leave yet. Now, Giovanni is actually the manager of all the concierges. So the concierge manager is Giovanni, who I did also speak to briefly. Okay. And it says, I stayed there for about 15 more minutes, and I left the place around 19:30 hours. So now we're getting into Exhibit Z. We're about to wrap up soon. So now we're getting into like the autopsy, okay? So I think I covered this before. I'm not going to go over it again. When it was first released, autopsy stuff from Mexico. Yeah, that stuff we already went over. I'm not going to go over that again. And that's best. I also had a medical examiner as well. Okay, hold on. That's autopsy. So these are just exhibits. So they're going to have like everything from like the guest list, the autopsy, anything they have that's related to the case. So that as part of the complaint, as like their evidence, I guess, at the back. Hold on. Inventory, write the number, alphanumeric combination of identifying each delivered piece of evidence, as well as its type or class, cancel the remaining spaces. One brown handbag with 2 books, a notebook, a hygiene kit, a red bag with one $50 bill, 5 $20 bills, one $10 bill, 9 $1 bills, 1 black Kia driver's license under the name Robinson, Shanquella Bernarda, and 2 passports, 1 white cell phone. So I guess we're talking about how much money they. Now I'm sure she had more money than that, and that's why people are thinking that people stole money from her, because I'm sure she had more money than what was that. Yeah. Now Exhibit D. Exhibit D. This is what they said they're going to attach to her being brutally attacked. Okay, and that actually ends it. So that's all, y'all. We got through it. So I'm sure everybody's going to be pretty much discussing it. I'm going to have to actually review the doctor's statements again myself and kind of like go back in my memory, jog my memory about what was also stated by Nazir Wiggins and what was also put out in the autopsy. I want to actually compare the doctor's statement, because the doctor's statement is what's new now that people are going to be talking about. So with that being said, I'm gonna play it right now, the tribute, and that's gonna be the end of the live. Okay, hold on. Let me check one more thing. I want to see if they have updated her name thing, because they said today. Now I'm sure they haven't done it yet, because when they say by end of day, most of the time it's gonna be like at the very end of the day. They're gonna get right to it, and most likely probably won't even work on it until after lunch, and then try to cram it in. And by that, they told me they're gonna redact the document she submitted, so I can be nosy. Daejhanae, she changed her name. So let me check and see if there was any updates on that before I log out. So far nothing. I'm not surprised. I will check back. If there's an update, then I'll update when I update, okay? Yeah. I'm curious to know why she put, I already know she's just trying to hide because her name is everywhere, but girl, you're gonna be surprised. All these videos I have is gonna have your name. And I can't wait for you to search it. You're gonna see Daejhanae Jackson changed her name, and your new name is right there. Ooh. Okay, hold on. So, okay, y'all, I'm going to play the tribute video and that's going to wrap up. I appreciate everybody for being here and I appreciate y'all for bearing with me. I had like 3 hours of sleep, but I definitely wanted to make sure I gave an update and I actually went live today. I'm supposed to go live on my main channel, but it doesn't look like I will be able to go live on my main channel, but I will be updating. I will put some stuff. I will be putting some stuff on my members tab today. Okay, so I will be at least doing that, but I will not be going live. I will try to get some rest and get some other things I need to get done. There's some stuff. The reason I was up late is because I was taking care of some emails and stuff I need to send out for some other stuff I was doing. So then I ended up staying later than I thought, and then I ended up getting like 3 hours of sleep. Okay, but y'all, so with that being said, I did make it through the live 3 hours later, but make sure y'all hit the like button on the replay, and I will see y'all in the next live. And yeah, so I can't wait until this gets started and, you know, everybody is brought in and they have to answer. It looks like they want, let me make sure. I think they actually were demanding a trial, right? A jury trial. Let me go back up real quick. Yeah, so they are demanding a jury trial. So yeah, this is gonna get really interesting. And I'm glad they're doing this, you know. Yeah, I think this really would shake things up and wake people up. And I think that a lot of the people will be scared because they thought they could just like change their name and start over like Daejhanae. But now they're going to be like, oh shit, we actually have a court case against us. So now we have to maybe talk. We might have to, you know, face consequences or something. Yeah, and then also, don't forget, they also brought in the FBI in the state. So the FBI will have to respond, and also the United States Department have to respond. A lot of people have to respond. And, you know, the FBI might actually release information now that, you know, they are going to be held to task. I don't know, y'all. We will see, but yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to get some rest. I'm definitely going to get some rest. Yeah, so hit the like button and replay, and hit the like button on your way out.
To be surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I could only imagine. Yeah, I could only imagine. I could only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I could only imagine when all I will do is forever worship you. I could only imagine. I could only imagine to be surrounded by your glory.
Vote Shanquella Robinson for Senior Class President.
Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I
Shanquella was a kid stylist, and she loved to braid kids' hair. So she braided babies' hair, and their hair was so cute. And I loved when they posed and just loved their hair afterwards. And you know how kids can be tender-headed, so you know she had to have a lot of patience.
Away from the world, no more pain. But I still miss you. I still miss you. Your smile, your face, your warm embrace. I lost you, but God got you. You were my angel, now you're God's angel. I know you're looking down, I hope I'm making you proud. One day I'll see you again, one sweet day. One sweet day I'll see you again. I love you, that will never change. I thought about you today. This pain won't go away. Losing you was like losing a part of me. When I close my eyes, I see you, imagine you. The good old days when you were here. Birthdays and holidays aren't the same. Nothing is the same. Nothing is the same without you. Your pictures are all I have. I want you here with me. I need you. I want your company. I miss you. But I know you're in a better place. I know God's keeping you safe. Away from the world, no more pain. But I still miss you. I still miss you. Your smile, your face, your warm embrace. I lost you, but God got you. You were my angel, now you're God's angel. I know you're looking down, I hope I'm making you proud. One day I'll see you again, one sweet day. One sweet day I'll see you again. I love you, that will never change. I didn't know that would be the last day. I didn't know that would be my last word. I didn't know that was goodbye. I'm not ready to say goodbye. Wish I could go back to that day, to hear your voice, to say hello, to say my last words, to say goodbye. I can't believe you're gone, this feels so